The rally world hits the Whangarei for round 2 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. While the weather didn't live up to Northland's reputation for sunshine, the action came hot and fast on the roads made famous by the WRC. Emma Gilmore makes her debut in the Suzuki Swift, but all eyes are on Hayden Padden as he sets the pace for the others to chase. Rally Whangarei is unique as it brings together competitors from the FIA Asia Pacific Championship and the New Zealand Rally Championship. So New Zealand drivers with FIA eligible cars can enter the Asia Pacific division of the rally and compete alongside the likes of young Finn Esa-Pekka Lappi in an MRF Skoda S2000. Ben Hunt, Matt Van Tuinen and 3 Ford Fiestas will compete in this group. While the locally modified cars of Padden, West, Mason and Gilmore will join the other New Zealand Championship competitors in the 2nd division of the rally. After a dominant performance at Rally Otago, Hayden Padden was again expected to be the pace setter in his Mitsubishi Evo 9.
Otago sort of come upon us pretty quickly, and we did a great job getting the car all fixed up for there. But since then we've made a few developments with the car, and we learned we needed to improve things, and we know the car's certainly going a lot quicker. How much quicker we don't really know until the first stage.
But Richard Mason had made significant changes to his BNT Subaru in an attempt to be more competitive.
Talked before Otago about keeping our car Group N, but with this R4 configuration with a lighter car and a better looking car is the way to go, I think. So we decided to go for that.
Emma Gilmore only did 1 stage of testing at Otago, but now the Suzuki Swift Maxi Rally car was on the start, ready to go.
Very exciting to finally be here on the start line. The team have done such an amazing job building this car. To finally get it here is it's very cool. It's been a big build job, so we haven't spent a lot of time out in the forest. The few days that we've gone out there, we've sort of learned, I suppose, as we've gone and haven't got as many miles as a driver I would like. But for the team, it's been crucial in learning the car and improving and fixing things.
Chris West once again leading the entry for Rally Out New Zealand and hoping that his mechanical woes were past him after a frustrating 2 days at Otago.
Obviously the guys have been working pretty hard over the last 4 weeks, and we had a run on the car earlier in the week and sorted out obviously what had occurred at Otago. So we're looking forward to putting 2 good days down on the board and some championship points for this weekend.
A traditional New Zealand welcome for the international drivers at the start. Then it's across the line with the APRC field leading the way. Start order 3 behind the Skodas was Aussie Group N driver Matt Van Tuinen, who is doing NZRC and APRC double duty. And right behind him, the Group N Subaru of Ben Hunt.
We want to keep the car down the centre of the road and get to the finish, and this year's really important for us to get some Ks under our belt and just learn the car really.
So the rally gets underway with 4 stages on Saturday morning. Let's check out our BNT stage preview.
Hi, I'm Richard Mason. Let's have a look at the BNT stage preview for Rally Whangarei. Stage 1, Waipu Caves. Starts off like a roller coaster. Big crests and big dips. Flat out down a tarmac section for a few Ks. The second half of the stage has a lot tighter corners with many changes of rhythm. A real difficult stage to start the rally with.
8:30 on Saturday morning and fog at the start of the stage, so pace notes are going to be important. Joining us on the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship coverage is Glenn Inkster. Glenn, as Matt lines up, how much of a worry is the fog?
The fog does make a difference because it's the first stage of the rally. They're trying to get some confidence in their notes. They can't see the road as well as they should or they would have done the recce, and it can play a big part.
Well, dramatic pictures from mid-stage as Matt sets the first time, 13 minutes 18. Ben Hunt next up and running 4th car, so plenty of loose gravel around, but he's faster, 12 minutes 59. Another 7 APRC cars started before the next New Zealand Championship car, the Fiesta of David Holder, one of 3 Fiestas entered in the APRC rally.
And this is the oldest of the Fiestas, the old model. He really has to drive it very, very hard to get the speed out of it.
Looks like the fog's lifted a bit there. Ooh. Wow, that's a dramatic start to the rally, especially with the new co-driver Josh Theobald in his first event. What do the pace notes say about that?
You right? Yep, okay. We've got fuel coming out.
Yeah, no, not what we like. It's the first time I've never done more than one stage, so it's pretty disappointing.
Tell us about the damage to the car.
Yeah, well, there's a wee bit there, but most of it's cosmetic, like, you know, just a bit of dimps here and there. But we've got a bit of work to do, obviously. Could have been a lot worse going down the bank that we went off. So, yeah.
So he's just clipped the inside of the corner, but there's no big hit, so hopefully that minimises damage.
Well, thankfully a lot less drama for the following Fiesta R2 cars. Josh Marsden first up with a time of 13 minutes 57. But beaten here by the other car of Phil Campbell, 5.5 seconds faster. Now it's the start for the other New Zealand competitors, and Hayden Padden first away on what will be a swept road.
You can see two wheel tracks there in the harder bits of the road, so certainly there's going to be some advantage there. But he'll be keeping a good eye out for any slippery bits of the clay coming up through the road, and that can happen with passing of cars.
150.
As you can see, there's a lot of fog around, but Hayden's so good on the pace notes that he'll consider this an advantage, because everyone else might be slowing down and he'll be going flat out.
Well, conditions clear at the stage end, and Padden will set the fastest time. His NZRC record on this stage is 12 minutes 12.4. Today, 11:57.2. Now, some obvious modifications to Richard Mason's car, new bonnet and wing, but will it matter on this stage, Glenn?
Oh, I'm not so sure that it'll make the car that much faster, but it certainly looks a lot better, and I think there's probably been a few things done under the skin that'll make the car faster.
Well, trying to match Padden, but stage time 21 seconds slower. Next up, Chris West, and his hope for a trouble-free run.
No brakes again, would you believe it?
Left and short 4 left.
Yeah, I think Westy was trying a different compound of brake pads for this rally, and I don't think it's worked, and it's certainly not the stage to be having braking problems. It just saps your confidence, and you really need confidence on your pace notes and where you're going.
To 2 left minus. Well, that puts West a minute down on Padden already on stage 1. Alex Kelsey won Rally Whangarei last year, but since then has struggled with mechanical issues after a big crash in the 2012 Otago Rally.
Yeah, he looks to be on the pace here, though. Alex has been pretty busy building a new car, so whether he's had the time to prep this car, I'm not too sure, and it doesn't look like it's going too well there.
Well, the stage time is still okay, 12 minutes 47.7, but will they still keep going? Emma Gilmore making her debut for the new Suzuki Swift, and fair to say that a brand new car, a brand new class of car, so she may be expecting a few problems during the day as well.
Yeah, but this car certainly is an exciting thing for the National Championship. It's pretty much a home-built special based loosely on some Argentinian rules, and it's good to see the car out there doing the times.
100.
That's a big hit coming up onto the tarmac there, and can't see, but it looks like the steering wheel's a little bit off.
20.
Well, stage time for Emma 13:11.6, so not fast, still a lot of learning. Sloane Cox returns to the championship at this round and makes an immediate impact, third fastest, 12 minutes 23.3. And Andrew Hawkswood with Mark Tapper co-driving in the Audi Special, fourth fastest, just 12 seconds slower than Cox. Before we move on, 40 people gathered at Rally Whangarei to share through video link with 750 people in Christchurch to celebrate the life of Royce Watson, who was tragically killed in a rally accident on the previous weekend. Royce was a very large part of the very close-knit Canterbury motorsport community, participating in rally and racing as a mechanic, scrutineer and keen competitor for over 20 years.
Yeah, hey, Royce was one of those guys, you know, when I first started rallying and I crashed car after car, he's always the man who'd bring you up and come around and see you and say, Clinky, just go and do a few more houses, plumb a few more houses and get back into it. And, you know, without someone like that in the sport, you know, I wouldn't be here today, and everyone will miss him, greatly.
He was always at all the rallies, scrutineer, and he'd give you advice where he could. He'd help out around his workshop, and he was one of those sort of guys that would give absolutely everything. and ask nothing back in return.
He's just been around for so long and just such an awesome, generous guy, and has a lot to do with everyone's cars, ours included, you know, wheel alignments before every event, and yeah, he's just, he'll be a huge loss, and yeah, we'll miss him forever.
Stage 2 and 6 is Brooks. A fast start with a big jump if committed, turns tight, twisty and technical in the centre, and finishes with the Hella Bridge.
The battle for the rally lead here as Hayden Paddon was in record-breaking form with his R4 spec car.
Everybody's got a faster car this year. They're making more power, they're lighter. Hayden's just drawing on all his experience to get his car going quickly, a lot faster than other people are at this stage.
And another stage win for Paddon, 8 minutes 12.5 seconds. Richard Mason again second fastest, but 9.4 seconds down, so Paddon's lead now 30 seconds. Sloane Cox another 5 seconds back, but holding third place. And Hawkswood and his amazing replica Audi again fourth fastest, and now fourth overall, just 15 seconds behind Cox. Chris West knows this stage well and lines up the jump over the Hella Bridge. A better time coming up now as his brakes not so stressed on a short stage.
Nice over finish.
Fifth fastest, 8 minutes 38.4. Emma Gilmore just ninth fastest through this stage, but nursing a bent steering arm from that stage 1 bump. At the end of the stage, the steering was starting to bind up, and unfortunately, the rack end broke at the refuel between stages, forcing her out for the day.
100. Felt okay?
Yeah, like occasionally it's like the wheel catches, it does something.
A great battle for top 10 honours. Graham Featherstone was in ninth, just 6.8 seconds ahead of Scott Simpson. These two are competing in Class 5, which is a Rally New Zealand initiative to introduce new competitors by allowing them to compete on day 1 only. Meantime, championship regular Dave Strong just 9.9 seconds back. The S2000 car outpaced in the early stages, but should be faster in the tighter stage 3.
Yeah, it should go better in the tighter stuff. Dave's car doesn't have a turbo, so it's not quite as easy to add power with a bigger restrictor, so he's just making use of what he has.
Brian Green just 0.1 slower than Strong on stage 1 and 5.6 behind on stage 2. But just moving past Green for 12th overall was Clinton Cunningham, the rookie who grew up just down the road in the town of Paparoa. You know, he used to watch from his gate WRC stars like Possum and Richard Burns, and dreamed one day himself of becoming a rally driver.
It's good to come here and be the only one, you know, from Northland in the NZRC that's sort of representing, I guess you could say, wanting to be a rally driver. That was always a goal. So
yeah,
made the step and started with a Mazda, kept breaking down. So we started with a clean sheet and built the car, and then you know, now we started doing a few club events, and now we're doing NZRC and try and get the rookie title. That's the goal this year, is to try and win that title, get a national title, yeah.
So Clint really living the rally dream. And Paddon having a dream run out in front, 30 seconds clear of Mason, Cox, Hawkswood, West, and Gilmore out after the stage while in 7th, Featherstone leading Group 5, and the rookie race. And before we head back to the stages, let's check out the other classes. In historic and open two-wheel drive, Marcus Van Klink and Jeff Judd locked together on stage 1. Judd came through fastest by 6 seconds. On stage 2, Van Klink fought back and reversed that deficit to a 3.1 second lead on the longer Ararua stage. He was able to extend that to 20 seconds. Aussie Stuart Reid in another RS 1800 Escort was third, but stopped by stage 3.
It's snapped the ball joint, clean in half. We never actually hit anything, so normally that can end up in quite a big accident, so we're quite lucky it's happened on one of these tight corners down here. But yeah, a bit of a pity. We're slowly getting into the groove of it, but that's rallying.
Hayden Patton's sponsor Tony Gosling from Stadium Cars was finding the groove in another RS 1800, the same car which Hayden had run in 2012 Otago. And with no experience on these roads, he has Nicole Summerfield alongside this weekend. But with plenty of experience and enjoyment on these roads, Miles McElwain in the Corolla.
Stage 3 and 7 is the big one, Parahi Ararua. A great Northland stage, 33 k's of tight twisty roads with a bit of pace. Very flowing, a real driver's delight.
So it's back to the leaders, and despite running after the 14 APRC cars, Hayden Patton still setting the pace for the whole rally.
Yeah, the top New Zealand cars are running down the order a little bit, and it doesn't give them the best of road conditions. Hayden always goes well in this rally, and he's got the gun set up today as well. Just look how good his car is through here.
And stage time, 19 minutes 43.9.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the slipperiest of the three. There's a lot of mud in there, and obviously being a bit further back on the road, it's getting a bit more chewed up. So we struggled in there. The tyres are moving around a lot, so they may be just a little bit too soft for the conditions. But hey, not a bad morning, and we'll make some changes for this afternoon.
Well, Richard Mason obviously trying hard here too, Glenn.
Yeah, Richard's made a lot of changes to his car between events. He'll be using these 3 stages in the first pass this morning to just work out what works and how to get the most out of it.
Yeah, Richard's very analytical in his approach to driving. Coming up to the finish, 19 minutes 45.2, right on Patton's pace.
That car's not handling the way that we want it to, and we're working on that at the moment. We were a lot closer to Hayden in that stage. I think there was really nothing in it. But, we've got a long way to come with the car. We've got to, take a lot of weight out of it and change some suspension stuff. So, we're really happy with how things are gone, especially after that stage.
Also happy with his return to the New Zealand Championship, Sloane Cox would hold on to third. But pressure coming from Andrew Hawkswood, just 12 seconds behind now, despite an eventful morning.
I've had a couple of issues. We lost our intercom in the first stage and then got a bit of mud on the wheels, and I thought we had a broken shaft, so we backed off a little bit. But, apart from that, we're all good.
Chris West was 50 seconds down on Patton through the stage, still holding 5th, but the car seemed to lack pace required to be competitive. Matt Van Tuinen flying on his way to 7th and 4th overall in the Asia Pacific Rally Group. But it was Ben Hunt, now 6th Kiwi and 3rd in the Asia Pacific Rally behind the Skodas. Stage 4, just a blast around the Poe Island Super Special. So no change in the results. The stage run in reverse this year, and as we see on board with Dave Thexton, now runs through the construction side of the new Whangarei harbour crossing, making for an extremely slippery ride.
Yeah, all that mud come up, it just makes it extremely slippery, and all you really can do is just get through the stage and get to the safety of service.
Patton now leads by 31 seconds over Mason, Cox, Hawkswood, Hunt in 6th, Featherston, first of the Group 5 cars. Phil Campbell leads Fiestas by 15 seconds, and Marcus Van Klink ahead in the Historics. But at service, Patton's Team Green are repairing damage to the front of the car from stage 2.
Just crushed intercooler hose here from over the Hella Bridge, but nothing too serious. Let's get it fixed. We've got full power again and a few other little changes, and hopefully this afternoon will be a bit better. The conditions have been quite tricky. Like there's a bit of grip there, but it's changing quite a lot. So get a head around that a bit more and improve this afternoon.
Richard, once again, Hayden has been the pace man today.
Yeah, we knew before the rally that he would be the pace. We've made a lot of changes to the car, and we've got to adjust it and set it up now for the weight of it. And there's different suspension arms and things like that. So there's a lot of work has to be done. The car is a long way from its best yet, and it's encouraging to see that we're on the pace after a couple of stages.
Phil Campbell had pushed hard on stage 3 to establish a 15-second lead in the Fiesta class by the service break.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the morning for us. All of the stages, as you say, nice and close, and that's the way we like it to be. And especially when we've got the advantage, it makes it good going into the afternoon stages. So we'll just try to do the same again, and we'll be happy.
I actually struggled a wee bit with the car this morning. It's been really, really taily. So whether it's the roads, a bit of rain overnight, we had mediums on the rear as well, which possibly wasn't the right choice. Maybe we should have run softs in the morning loop on the rear. So it's all right, though. It's close, so it's well achievable in the afternoon.
The Class 5 group is an initiative by the organisers to allow competitors to compete for just one day on this event. Graham Featherston had led the way, but after running a close second, Scott Simpson came to grief on stage 3 and retired. Coming up, the stages are repeated and the times tumble on Rally Whangarei. It's been raining over the lunch break out on the stages, so tyre choice could be critical. Padden shaved 5 seconds off his morning time. A bigger improvement for Mason, though, 20 seconds faster through the stage, although still 5.8 seconds slower than Padden. Sloane Cox third, but 20 seconds slower than the leading two drivers.
7 left minus.
The stage is running in reverse to previous years, so starts with this uphill section.
This is one of the most spectacular roads in the NZRC. There's a fine line between getting it right and the great feeling that comes with it and making a small mistake that can end up in a massive accident, much like what happened to Emma Gilmore on that bit of road going the other way.
Well, problems for Andrew Hawkswood stopping on the stage, and Dave Strong is the next car on the road.
And if you look down on the left-hand side of the screen, the Rally Safe system shows as a car stopped. And now they're clear.
That's a great safety initiative in times like this. Luckily, Hawkswood got back going again, but dropped to 11th place. Stage 6, Brooks, and we joined the spectators at the Hella Bridge, the iconic jump that defines this event. Matt Van Tuinen, first New Zealand car over. He's held 6th place through the day and still trails Ben Hunt in the APRC rally. Hunt pushing harder and now 5th overall in his Group N Subaru. A tyre change makes a big difference to Josh Marsden, now putting in competitive times against Phil Campbell. But not enough to peg back Campbell's 15-second lead from the morning, yet. Plenty of Hayden Padden fans out on the stage, and he doesn't disappoint. Another stage win, taking 4 seconds off his morning stage time. Again, Richard Mason is more competitive, just 1 second slower through the stage, but it must be frustrating to be beaten each time. Sloane Cox, though, 13 seconds slower in third, so the two front runners seem to be a class above the others today. And he might have only been 5th fastest, but this is what the crowd have come to see.
Yeah, Andrew takes the style points here. That car's not the fastest car with technology, but you just drive it with the right foot and back it in.
Look at this, 1986 all over again. More surprises in stage 6. This one here for Dave Thexton. Watch this. Here we go. Oops.
Holy, it's broken. The whole thing just broke. We're done.
Well, we'll stay in that gear until the end, I think.
I can't believe that.
He limped out of the stage, but he lost a lot of time.
It's amazing, really, because we've got two M6 high tensile bolts, I should say, and I'm snapping them off. Like I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, so...
Well, maybe that's telling you a story.
Yeah, we're going to have to put bigger bolts in, I think, yeah.
So stage 7, the final true test of the day. Padden again dominant and shaves 6 seconds off the morning time. But a big problem for Richard Mason, a front wheel bearing failure, means he has to nurse the BNT Subaru through the stage.
The difficult thing here is he doesn't want to lose too much time, but he doesn't want to lose a wheel as well. So just to get the balance right.
And that's the end of the stage, and 2 minutes down on Hayden Padden.
In the previous stage, we broke a wheel bearing on the left front, and really we're just nursing it back to the service park at the moment. His New Zealand Championship is all about finishing the rally and getting points each day. So for us, we're just trying to make it through to the end of the day and getting the rally together,
That time loss puts Sloane Cox up to 2nd place after he posted a time of 20 minutes 18, putting him 13 seconds ahead of Mason, despite spinning in the stage.
That stage was going real good, but on probably the tightest corner in there, managed to have a half spin. Nearly get stuck, but managed to reverse that and carry on. So didn't lose too much time, but still, it's awesome fun out there.
Chris West with a better result on this stage, 3rd fastest and just 9 seconds slower than Cox.
Yeah, Westy will just be wanting to get through the day. tomorrow is a new day for points, so he's got to make the most of what he can, get through these problems, sort them at service, and a new day tomorrow.
Fourth fastest for Andrew Hawkswood as he battled to make up for lost time, but the Audi's stuck in fourth gear at the stage end, and that left co-driver Mark Tapper to hop out in control.
What's the story, Mark?
We've lost all our gears other than fourth midway through the stage. We ran the jack, the rattle gun out of power too, so we got no jack. I need to get down there, and I was trying to get up on something so I can get under the car and try and get some more gears.
A great day for Ben Hunt in his Group N car, staying ahead of Van Tuinen and fifth in the New Zealand division. Clinton Cunningham flying the local flag and finishing ninth for the day. But big problems for Dave Strong. His power steering failed at the end of stage 6 and he was struggling through the long stage.
Yeah, when a car's meant to have power steering and you lose it, it's not simply like having a normal car without power steering. Just holding these things in a straight line can be a real effort. And as you can see, Dave's losing a lot of time.
How many K was that?
We've done 11, 21 to go. Long 5 right.
It's going to be 3 cars.
Okay.
Rally sponsor Brian Green passed Dave Strong and finished the day 10th, just 10 seconds behind Cunningham. Richard Baddock passing Thexton to move up to 11th in Class 1. David Thexton hoping the temporary repairs in his gear lever would hold out until the day's end.
Long 4 right, opens 50.
Phil Campbell lost time to Marsden on stage 7, but they were virtually tied on stage 8. The tyre change for Marsden had made a huge difference and he would finish the day ahead by 0.8 seconds. So Padden takes a win on day 1 by 2 minutes 25 seconds over Cox. Disappointing third for Mason. West lucky to hold on to fourth after a frustrating day. Ben Hunt an excellent fifth. Further down, the two Fiestas virtually tied. Van Klink takes a 36-second victory in the Historics. End of day 1 and time for Hayden Padden to reflect on his times, which see him fastest of all cars, including WRC rival Laffey in the Asia Pacific Championship Skoda.
You know, we're certainly looking at that very closely, and particularly if likes Lappy here. You know, he's one of our main rivals when we're back in Europe, so it's good to sort of rub it into the wounds a little bit while we're here. But you know, still a long way to go, and we want to try and go a bit faster tomorrow and increase that gap to them as well.
And a great start to his championship for Sloane Cox.
It's where I wanted to be, and I'm pleased I've been doing it without having any moments. I had one spin, but that was just putting my handbrake on too hard and getting too tight on a tight corner. So yeah, I'm definitely happy for my speed I've got, and hopefully be able to do the same tomorrow.
The battle for historic and two-wheel drive saw Marcus Van Klink score a much-needed win over close rival Jeff Judd. Judd's escort outpaced on these stages, but he kept the gap to a respectable 38 seconds. In third, Tony Gosling battling the weather, which turned wet late in the day, and the road, which was cutting up badly for the tailenders.
He looks busy on the steering wheel here. Doesn't look like too much power steering going on.
Oh, Andrew, you could be making it harder than it looks. That reminds me of my old escort.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't want to drive a Mark II escort through these roads?
Graham Featherston took out the honours in Class 5. The class had a high attrition rate, though, with Daniel Walker coming home second in his ageing Lancer Evo 1.
And isn't it great that a car like that has a place in our NZRC?
Just like David Ralph's return to the championship after many years, picking up third in his Toyota Starlet. Coming up, Day 2 Rally Whangarei. Who can challenge Hayden Padden?
Day 2 starts with Special Stage 9 Waipu Gorge. As the name suggests, it starts off in a tight twisty gorge with some tricky bridges, opening out to a fast end with long sweeping corners.
An overnight reseed of the APRC drivers sees Hunt now start third on the road. Just another challenge for Ben, who responds by setting the stage benchmark at 7 minutes. Matt Van Tunen, one of 3 Australian drivers to enter this event, but the only one competing for the New Zealand Rally Championship points. He was the fastest Aussie, but only 12th in the New Zealand standings on the first stage. Pressure on Hayden Paddon today, though. He knows that Mason has made good progress with his Subaru. Today will not be easy for the production car world champion.
And that sounded like a little bit of a misgear just coming into that corner. Richard won't want to be beaten by Hayden Paddon. These two are the most fierce rivals, and also two of the best rally drivers New Zealand's ever produced.
So, Hayden Paddon coming down to the line. 6 minutes 39.8, a new record. And look at the concentration on the face of Richard Mason now.
Yeah, it's a new day for points, so he won't be thinking about yesterday. It's all about trying to win as many stages and try and win the day.
And the time there, 6 minutes 41.8, 2 seconds down. Again, Sloane Cox third fastest, and again he is 11 seconds off Paddon's time. Andrew Hawkswood's Audi looking battered, but a great time. Fourth fastest, 6 minutes 58, and clearing most of the gravel off the road by the looks. Back in the rally after repairing a faulty engine sensor, Alex Kelsey will be wanting to show that he has a winning pace here.
This car's another car spectators want to see. It's a home-built special. Alex has built a lot of the parts in the car himself. It's really great to see on the stages, and along with Andrew Hawkswood, that's the one that everybody goes to watch.
Stage 10 and 14 are battling. This stage starts just south of Mingott Roto, heading down to the Kaipara Harbour. It starts off twisty, then about halfway through we do an acute right-hand turn and the road gets faster to the finish.
Well, a fantastic WRC stage this, and good road conditions out front for Ben Hunt.
Yeah, I think as more cars pass through, the road's going to cut up a wee bit. We don't always get the most sun early in the morning on this stage, and there's been a lot of rain in the build-up to the event. Even after just a few more cars, the road's getting a little bit worse.
Josh making the best of the roads, though, with a 15-second advantage. And here's a good view from Hayden Paddon's camera.
And this is what I was talking about with the trees and the banks. The road's not getting the sun to dry it out this early in the morning.
But Hayden's picking the good lines as he threads the car through, and look at that. Hayden Paddon at his best once again. And it's another record, 10 minutes the time. And that's putting pressure on Richard Mason. 7 seconds slower here. He just can't match Paddon yet.
Listen, I just think it comes down to small little bits every stage, and Hayden's experience that he's gained overseas.
Sloane Cox, maximum effort here, and a little lucky there as well, but no time lost, still third. And fourth for Hawkswood too, so the rally not providing any real surprises here. Kelsey, fifth place, coming into this stage, and not yet showing the pace he's capable of.
Alex runs his car purely mechanical. There's no electronic centre diff. It's all locked up. It suits his style, but on this technical stage, maybe it's just holding him back a little bit. And we'll probably get the best out of Alex when he brings out his new car.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, an unfortunate start to the stage for Emma Gilmore, but she's away now. And she's starting to show some real pace now. 10 minutes 41.3. That's fifth fastest.
Stage 11 and 15, Whangarei. It starts off with long, tight corners, then gets faster and faster. The stage ends over the famous Hella Bridge jump, a great spot to spectate.
The second part of this stage is the same ending to the Brook stage from yesterday, so we're going to see maximum commitment because I've checked the notes twice already.
And business as usual out front for Hayden Paddon. Fastest again, and another NZRC stage record. 5.4 seconds adrift on the stage, Richard Mason, now 14 seconds down for day two, and the gap to Sloane Cox nearly a minute, but Cox definitely the best of the rest. Andrew Hawkswood, fourth overall, and this car looks to be a bit of a handful there, Glenn.
around these tight stages. It sure will be. It's never going to be the best handling car, but it is the most spectacular.
Mind you, this is a handful too, but compare the old school car of Andrew Hawkswood with the new one for Emma Gilmore here.
Yeah, this is a new breed of National Rally Championship car, and it's pretty much its first full-blown outing. So Emma's taken a little bit of time to get... Oh, hang on a minute. She was very lucky to get away with that one, but yeah, let's just see if any damage has been done.
Short 8 right, something's bent.
Oh, there it is. That's just destroyed that front wheel.
Left entry small crest into 3 right minus. And 3 left.
Westy's still not happy in that car. Looks like he's having to drive it pretty hard just to get the times out of it.
Brian Green was enjoying a close battle in the morning with Dave Strong, less than 2 seconds between them going into the stage.
Brian doesn't set stage winning times, but he certainly is consistent, and it's super impressive to see him still out there running, you know, in his 60s.
And Brian's time, 11 minutes 56.9. Now with his power steering fixed for today, Dave Strong was back at full pace. 11 minutes 53.8 on the stage, so he moves ahead of Green by 0.4 of a second.
6 right.
Dave Thexton was slowed with a fuel pressure problem after stage 10, so was running at the back of the field. That's Marcus Van Klink stranded right there on stage 11. Van Klink had been setting the class pace 6 seconds ahead of Jeff Judd, but a broken axle stopped him for the day on stage 11. His misfortune was good news for Judd, putting him into the leading position in the historic championship. Tony Gosling takes second in the class for the morning as he comes to grips with his car. Oh, no power steering there, Glenn.
No, I think Tony's starting to get the handle on this car, though. His times are getting better all event. Tony's a good supporter of Hayden Paddon and David Holder, so I have no doubt Hayden's given him a few tips to get him some more speed.
Stage 12 and 16, Arcadia Cassidy. A new start on Arcadia Road. A fantastic start to an already excellent road. As an added bonus this year, it's the power stage.
And that power stage will be run in the afternoon. A chance for some bonus points and cash to be won. But problems on the stage for Ben Hunt. Going very slow here. Seems to be some kind of problem.
Honking along, coming into a 4 left, and it's all of a sudden had no brakes, so she was a bit of a panic to get around that corner, but no, we just limped through the last 15 or 16k.
So that moves Matt Van Tuinen to 6th. That's 11 seconds ahead of Hunt. Hayden Paddon and Richard Mason toe-to-toe on this stage. A new stage, so Paddon sets the record at 15 minutes 33.8. Richard Mason responds with 15 minutes 37.8. Cox 30 seconds back and wide lines costing him time there.
He's certainly having a go, though, and you've got to remember the two in front are world class, so Sloane Cox is still doing a superb job.
And nothing Chris West can do to make up time here. 4th again.
4 left plus. And right into 4 left minus.
Andrew Hawkswood losing more time after he hit a bank and damaged the car. So the day 2 standings, and Paddon just edging ahead 18 seconds now, but Cox 1 minute 30 back in 3rd, Hunt now 7th, but Josh Marston leading the 2-wheel drive and up to a great 9th overall. It's a damp service park at Whangarei, and the wet morning stages have given Hayden Paddon plenty to think about.
Yeah, well, obviously there's a bit of overnight rain and they are chewing up a lot, so being a bit further back on the road is probably not helping us a whole lot, but, in saying that, against Richard and the other NZRC guys, it's all the same, so, no complaints. Hopefully it will dry out a bit this afternoon and the car should come to its element a bit more.
We're still working on the car, the handling is getting better, but we're just that little bit away, we've got to get a little bit more out of it.
A bit more tyre wear today, and that's a good thing?
Yeah, I suppose it means that they've got more grip. We'll run through, we've only got 4 stages to go, I mean, anything can happen. It's still quite a few Ks, so we'll try and, keep going as quick as we can.
Brian, a few issues in that last stage?
Yes, well, unfortunately we just started the stage and the brake pedal went a little bit funny, and then the car wasn't handling particularly well. Anyway, as the stage progressed, we lost the brakes altogether, and we also ended up with a puncture. So, and then to make matters worse, right on the very last corner, I let Dave Strong go past us, and a rock flew up and smashed the windscreen as well. So we had the trifecta in that stage, I'm afraid.
Andrew, a lot of mud in the front left. You hit a bank?
Yeah, no, we had a spin and hit a bank this morning, and unfortunately we've cracked a piece of the engine, and we're down on power for a couple of stages there, like hopeless. So we're down on power and no fourth gear, so it hasn't been a good day so far.
Well, out of that, what can you fix in service?
Oh, well, the cosmetics are done, but they've managed to weld the engine up, so that was pretty amazing, and we should be back on it this afternoon.
Well, another good day, Sloan.
Yeah, it's been good actually. I had a bit of a fright in that last one. About 500 metres from the end, I lost my brakes. Pedal went straight to the floor, so I cruised onto the end and managed to find the end stage with the left rear brake, pipe had been broken. But yeah, apart from that, it's been a real good day. I'm happy with my time and my speed.
Ben, looks like you've just done a brake line.
Yeah, it's thankfully, because we don't have a spare caliper, so it's just worn through the braid and obviously pierced a hole in there, so we'll sort that out and bleed her up, and she should be good for the afternoon.
Once again, a strong performance by the two R2 Fiestas, but today Phil Campbell not able to match Josh Marston. Marston leading by 30 seconds at service, despite a niggle in the sequential gearbox.
A small issue in that last stage, and not as bad as you thought.
Yeah, it felt a bit weird in the stage, and the flat shifter wasn't working on the gearbox, so I had to use the clutch on the way up. Then it was a bit rattly, and when it doesn't work properly, it makes everything feel a lot worse. So it felt good on the touring section on the way back, so hopefully it's just that. The boys will fix that now, and it's just an adjustment, and then fingers crossed it's good for the afternoon loop.
I think some of your previous experience coming to the fore here with your ability to push Phil.
Yeah, I mean, we've always battled really close in the old cars and also at the start of this year in these cars, and it's great. You just make each other push so hard. I mean, the stage records are tumbling, and it's just good to fight against each other.
Also having an interesting battle, the two remaining rookie drivers, both finding one corner quite tricky. Cunningham out for the day. Ooh. But Richard Baddock escaping to continue. Hayden Patton took another 4 seconds off his Waipu Gorge stage time. But Richard Mason getting a huge fright early in the stage. Seems to be doing a lot of work on the wheel there, Glenn.
Yeah, it looks like the steering wheel's come away from the boss, which is not what you want in a rally car. It's just spinning, it's disconnected. It's actually on a spline, so he may be able to just force the wheel back on and then drive to the end of the stage.
Well, it looks like he's made the repairs. Continuing through stage 14, luckily still second, but no chance now to challenge Patton. Cox now putting in more competitive times as he held third. And Emma Gilmore's back on the pace after repairs to the steering at service. The stage 13 would be her best performance yet in the new car.
I don't know that the suspension's perfect, and I don't know if they could do anything about it, but maybe it's just working well in this stage.
30, 4-8, hug neat. Into 5 left minus. 100. Crest middle. Over finish.
And stage time there, 6 minutes 45.8. The battle for Group N Asia Pacific honours would see Ben Hunt reclaim his Day 2 class lead over Van Tuinen, with both drivers really shining in the Asia Pacific race, coming home third and fourth behind the Skodas. In the New Zealand Championship two-wheel drives, Miles McElwain finishing third in his Corolla. Tony Gosling finishing second in his RS 1800. And Jeff Judd taking the lead in the class and the historic challenge with a win. Despite a hard charge through the afternoon, Phil Campbell unable to take back the R2 lead, but both drivers impressing on the Asia Pacific Rally, finishing 5th and 6th. No dream finish for Emma Gilmore, though.
90. 2-8 opens. Oh.
The Suzuki Swift Maxi breaking a drive shaft and spinning to a halt at the last stage.
2 left.
And drama at the end for Chris West.
There's something wrong, eh?
Yes. there's something banging in the back.
Is there?
Yeah, right into 6 left minus, opens 50.
Breaking a rear suspension arm and limping home 5th overall for day 2, but holding 3rd for the 2 days. Sloane Cox went off in a ditch in the final stage, and despite this effort by Andrew Hawkswood, that's where he stayed. Hawkswood continued with a damaged 4th gear. No downforce on the front of the car, and with its damaged front wing, he was very lucky to scrape through this.
Only Andrew would get away with something like that.
A big effort by Richard Mason on the final power stage to try and beat Padden for those 3 bonus points. But this was Hayden Padden's rally, and he was never going to let anyone just beat him.
Yeah, well, Hayden needs every point he can get because he's off overseas when the next NZRC round is on.
Picked up 14 stage wins out of 16 stages in all categories.
Well done. Not so nice to drive. But...
No.
Oh, definitely. You know, that counts for us. You know, at the end of the day, we are competitive, and especially when we've got lots of Lappy and that from who we're going to be competing with overseas. So, no, great weekend. Great for the team.
So, the top 6 on day 2. Hayden Padden, Mason, Hawkswood, then Ben Hunt, who got ahead of Chris West. And for the 2 days, Hayden Padden, a clear winner from Mason. Chris West hung on to 3rd despite his engine issues.
We're happy with the result for the weekend. We were pretty close to Hayden. You know, we did have a couple of troubles, which was slowing us down a bit. So, I don't know, all in all, pretty good weekend.
And another great result for Ben Hunt, justifying his entry into the Asia Pacific Rally.
Yeah, it did. It was an awesome opportunity to run up there with the Skodas and the other Group N cars, so we really enjoyed it. It's a different group of people to run on the road with, and yeah, it was awesome. We learnt the car a lot more than Otago, and yeah, it's just been a great weekend apart from the few little slight hiccups we've had, but yeah, fantastic.
Leading Class 1 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Championship, Hayden Padden from Richard Mason and Ben Hunt. In the two-wheel drive championship, it's Josh Marsden just 2 points clear of Campbell, Miles McElwain moving into 3rd. Jeff Judd has a commanding 37-point lead in Historic, but Buist will be back for round 3 Daybreaker. And Graham Featherston leads Rhys Gardner and Richard Baddock in the rookie standings. But it's Hayden Padden who celebrates on the podium. He'll miss the next round as he heads back to the WRC. But we'll have all the action right here on the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.